Welcome to Integrity Inspire, your daily dose of inspiration and motivation, featuring the bright and talented members of the Integrity Marketing Group family. Now, here's your host, Integrity co-founder and CEO, Bryan W. Adams.
Well, welcome to the Inspire podcast. I'm so excited to have an opportunity to join you on this special edition of the Integrity Inspire podcast. We had something different planned for today, but Robyn made the mistake of walking into the room while we were wrapping up our podcast yesterday, and I had the spur-of-the-moment idea of, hey, it's Mother's Day weekend, and we should do the first ever live, in-person interview. And Robyn, would you join us? And I actually, man, I got some text messages from people kind of chastise me and also kind of congratulate me on courage yesterday because, Robyn, you weren't quite sure about what that was going to mean, but or if you were ready, so you just went with it. So thanks for joining us today. Really appreciate you being here.
Yeah, I'm excited.
You look excited. So we got Robyn Adams, my wife. Thank you for joining us. Robyn is much more of the behind the scenes part of the Adams family. I hate it when people say the Adams family. I grew up in a funeral home. My parents owned funeral homes in West Texas in the 80s, so I got all the Adams family jokes. I hate people saying the Adams family, but she is the other one. She's the one that's behind the scenes that is much more introverted, I think.
You think?
You think? That it's going to be fun. I thought this would be fun since it's Mother's Day coming up. I thought it would be it'd be interesting to share some of our journey, especially our journey for you for motherhood, and just kind of us getting to know each other. We've gotten to know a lot of our partners on this call, and the other part of this is there's a lot of amazing people on the other side of that really make the partners here at Integrity who they are. I mean, there's the Shelley Sheath, the Trish Wingates, the Ann Whites, the Donna Richards, the Dina Sweeney's. I mean, all of these amazing people. Jay Bailey. I'm just thinking of all of the incredible people. Jennifer Fincher. I mean, all the amazing people on the other side of this. Hey, by the way, don't forget the men on this. Maury Fredericks, by the way, he's an amazing guy. But there's the other side of the story of we wouldn't be where we are, or we wouldn't be who we are without the significant others in our lives. And so I just wanted to say, thank you to all of the mothers and spouses, the Deb Kimballs and the Blair Kimballs and all of the just amazing people that we have out there that give us the opportunity. This wasn't ever your dream, Robyn, to do all the things that we've done, I've done, but you've supported my dream in a lot of ways. And so I just wanted to thank all of the spouses and certainly thank you, Robyn.
Thank you.
So this is awkward. So usually I've got somebody on the other line.
Yeah.
We're kind of going back and forth. Today we got no script. We got no talking points. We just got us. So we're just going to talk. Let's just talk about our story. So whenever we met, for some of you guys, this may not be interesting at all. For us, we'll just have fun with it. So Robyn and I actually met at church. I moved to Dallas after starting Integrity and getting this thing going, and moved to Dallas so I'd be closer to the DFW airport. It's one of the largest airports in the world, and I was tired of the bar scene and all of that type of stuff, and started going to church regularly, and met one of my college buddies, and we were at a church event, and he said, "Hey, this is Robyn. She teaches in your neighborhood. She was a second grade school teacher. She teaches in your neighborhood. Y'all should meet up and talk sometime." So You remember those days?
Mhm. Yeah.
It works better if you talk. so then we were at church. I'll never forget. We were at church, and it was like at a church meeting, and it was really interesting. Everywhere we went, everything we did, that group, and if you were there at church, you were trying to help set up stuff, and you were always there. You were always serving, always behind the scenes, always helping. I was really intrigued by that. And I remember one day I said, "Hey, do you want to?" One night, it was a Wednesday night after class, and it was like 8:30, and I said, "Hey, do you want to grab coffee?" You remember those days?
Yes.
And what happened?
I was like, well, I don't drink coffee, and I'm really hungry because I'd come straight from work to this class, and I was starving, and so I was like, yeah, I mean, I'll have dinner.
And I was like, whoa, I didn't mean a date. I was like, just let's grab coffee, and you're like, jump-starting it to a date, which then it took us like a long time to start dating after that.
Yeah.
But that was it was kind of intimidating. So then we started dating. Mm-hmm. We got engaged. We don't have time for all of these stories, but for those of you who don't know, I have my pilot's license. The board of directors sees fit that they don't really prefer me to fly myself anymore, but I don't know why. But they so we had I rented a plane. I took Robyn flying. Stephen Prince actually was flown up earlier to shoot a video of us for me proposing.
Yes. We
flew back, and we were going to have an engagement party by your parents' house. And on arrival, as I was coming in for the final landing, I had a pilot error. I overshot the runway, and we crashed the plane in front of all of our friends and family.
Mm-hmm.
That's a way to start it off.
Yeah.
That is a way to start. Like, what were you thinking? Like, still marrying me after we could have a whole segment on this.
Well, I knew it would be exciting. That's for sure. An adventure.
Your dad didn't feel that way.
No, he still doesn't like talking about it.
Yeah, he still doesn't really want to talk about that. So then we get married. Early marriage was kind of interesting because at those times I was working out of my house, and we had 6 people in cubicles.
Yes. That
were working out of my house. We had Stephen and Lisa, Stephen Prince, Lisa Cook were there. We had cubicles all upstairs. And what were those days like? You were a school teacher, and then you had a bunch of people working at your house.
Yeah, I felt like if I came home before 5, I couldn't that was the days of Oprah. I couldn't watch Oprah. I felt guilty because y'all were working upstairs, and I was done teaching by 3:30. But yeah, it was interesting.
Those were fun times.
It was fun.
Those were fun times. I remember you getting frustrated about people taking over our refrigerator and our cabinet space and then our bathrooms. I remember at one point, people just weren't respecting bathrooms, and you were like, "Do they want me to go to their house and go to the bathroom?" This is you don't remember?
You were saying that.
So that was those were incredible times. So you put up with us working from home for quite a while, and then we were 3 or 4 months into our marriage.
Yes.
And you came home one day and said, "Hey, one of my best friends, her and her husband and their dog.
They're renovating their house. She's 7 months pregnant, and they need a place to live while their house is being renovated." So we said, "Yeah, you can stay in our extra bedroom, and I guess you can bring your dog."
We had a dog. They had a dog. We had 6 people working at the house, coming every day. We had a night shift and a day shift.
Yeah.
We had people everywhere. And remember they had that strange dude that came to help with
her dad's friend helped with the renovations, and he was going to stay at the house with there was no furniture. It was all torn up. So we were like, well,
I think they just had him. All of a sudden he started crashing on our couch. And then 6 months into it, or maybe 2 months into it, I was like, "Dude, what's your name?" It was like, "What is your name, bro?"
Well, we made a bedroom for him in the front house.
That's right. So we had literally a day shift and a night shift. Those were pretty exciting early days of marriage. So then we traveled. We had a lot of fun, and then we decided to have kids. So what was that like for us?
Well, I mean, it was a struggle. We had a hard time getting pregnant. We lost 2 pregnancies in the beginning, and it was hard. One was an ectopic. I can't say it. Ectopic pregnancy.
Which is a pregnancy that takes place in your
tubes,
yeah.
And that can be pretty dangerous to the mom, and so that was a little scary. But yeah, it was definitely a struggle. And
anybody who's ever gone through on either side infertility struggles is it's a tough thing. We just thought that would come easy, and then all of a sudden it was such a challenge.
Yeah.
And that was the toll for you, and for this is Mother's Day weekend, so that path to motherhood for you was not easy.
Yeah.
And then we finally got pregnant with twins, and we were just elated. And whenever, for those of you who don't know our story, we got pregnant with twins, and we were just beside ourselves. I remember on Christmas we got 2 of everything. We had friends and family giving us 2 of everything. They were just so excited for us because I think we were godparents because we couldn't have kids. All of our friends made us their godparents. We were godparents for like 16 kids or something at one point. It's like nobody can travel together. So everybody's like giving us 2 of everything. And then on New Year's Day, 2012, you went into preterm labor, and your back was hurting, and we went to the hospital. Tell a little bit about that story.
Well, yeah, we called we were with friends, and my friend said, I think you should call your on-call nurse and just let her know you're having this back pain. And we started paying attention to it. It was coming pretty regularly, like every 15 minutes or something. I'd feel this intense back pain, lower back. So we called the nurse. She just said, try some Tylenol, a bath, see if it gets better. It didn't get better. We called her back, and she said, I think you should just go to the ER and just to be checked, just to be sure. And so we did that on New Year's Day.
It was New Year's Day, so it was crazy. The ER was crazy.
Yeah.
And they usually wouldn't. We were
19 weeks.
19 weeks pregnant. So that's usually considered a miscarriage and they wouldn't usually send you to labor and delivery.
Right.
But for some reason, by the grace of God, they
and because there were twins, I guess.
And they let us go up to labor and delivery.
And and they just it took a while to figure out what exactly was happening, but then they did say, yeah, you're in labor, and so we're going to give you some medication. We're going to try to stop it. Obviously, 19 weeks is before viability, so neither one of them could survive. So that's what we did, and it was okay for like a day, and then the next day my water broke on one of our babies, and that was just really devastating. We thought that was it. I mean, from what we knew, this was our first experience really to get that far in pregnancy, which wasn't even that far. We just thought that was it. They were going to be born and we would lose them. But we actually, after that happened, everything kind of calmed down. And so the Asher was our baby that was up higher, and he was fine. He had a separate sac, and then Titus was our baby whose water broke. And but everything calmed down after that. I wasn't really contracting anymore in labor, and so then our doctor was like, okay, well, we're just going to do bed rest and try to take this pregnancy as long as it can go. So that's what we did for the next 4 or 5 weeks.
So for those of you who don't know what viability is, viability is can a baby live outside of the mother? And viability in pretty much all hospitals is 24 weeks. So you've got to get to 24 weeks as a rule of thumb, which gives them about a 50-50 chance to survive. Super early, super traumatic. But we were at 19 weeks. And I remember, so Titus was baby A, which is the bottom baby. And Titus, his name is, you want to tell just his name real quick?
Yeah. We felt like that was a strong name from the Bible, just representing strength. And also it says, God comforts the downcast and comforted us by the coming of Titus. And so we just love that name. So actually he, after the water broke around him, instead of pointing down like he was going to be delivered, he kind of moved, how do you say?
He laid across.
Kind of laid across.
He blocked the exit.
Yes.
We called it block the exit.
Right.
And so one of our friends, the same friend that lived with us
yes.
Early on in the story, said, "Oh my gosh, he's like Jack Bauer." We like 24, the show 24.
Yeah.
Where if you didn't watch 24, you missed out. 24, Jack Bauer, like in the most ridiculous circumstances, always like came through and saved the world
at the last minute.
And so we called him Jack Bauer from
Titus Bauer.
Well, we called him Jack for a minute.
Okay, yeah.
And then we ended up naming him Titus Bryan Adams, which was because of the fact that
he was like, nobody's going anywhere.
Nobody's going anywhere. I got this.
And
I remember the doctor, the specialist said that day, he said, "Oh, great, now we're not going to be able to deliver." And we're like, "That's great news." And the doctor actually said, "Well, it's better if we just terminate." The specialist said, "It's better if we terminate the pregnancy and just start all over, give her a chance to start over." And I remember literally grabbing that doctor and saying, he said, "You only have a 5% chance for this pregnancy to work." And I said, "That's all God needs. And if you ever talk to my wife like that again," then I can't remember what I threatened him with, but I was so angry because we had gone through so much.
Yeah.
And it had been so hard that to hear a specialist say that was just devastating. So then we went for 4 or 5 weeks on bed rest. You could get up for 15 minutes a day.
Mm-hmm.
You could take a shower. You could walk, what was it, like 10 feet total?
Well, I just had to time myself. I had 15 minutes to take a shower, get dressed, do anything I needed to do, get back in bed.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, and they checked on, they both had strong heartbeats every day, and we checked them with sonogram like twice a week, and just tried to see if Titus was accumulating more fluid, because fluid is very important for lung development, and just to make it to where his lungs would be developed enough to survive when he was born. So we just kept checking that. Asher was just along for the ride. They both kept growing and had strong heartbeats, and we were just trying to delay labor. Once your water breaks, you're just on a time clock, to deliver. And they didn't really have an idea of when that would be. They had scenarios of moms that would go for a long time after that before they delivered, and then some would deliver right away. So we just kind of were up in the air what would happen. But we were on bed rest for about a month, so we got to 23 weeks and 2 days.
And we had a gift during that time. We got to see both of our boys. We called them our twinspiration.
Yeah.
And we got to see their heartbeats. We got to hear their heartbeats. We got to see them on sonogram. And then 23 weeks and 2 days. Yeah,
just my body couldn't hold it any longer. Just went into labor. done magnesium and strong medications like 4 days before that, kind of bought us some more time, but it just wasn't working anymore. So we delivered them at 23 weeks and 2 days, and Titus had never accumulated very much fluid, so he just didn't have the lungs to respond to a ventilator or to treatment.
He was a live birth. He was a pound 6 ounces. He was bigger than Asher.
Yeah.
He was perfectly formed. I'm the only one who got to see him alive.
Yeah.
He lived for 46 minutes, and it was perfect. And he gave Asher a chance.
Yeah.
And then he passed away, and little Asher just started his fight. He was along for the ride.
He was a pound 2 ounces.
1 pound 2 ounces
Yeah.
when he was born. He was smaller than a water bottle. And then if you've ever gone through that, there's something in the hospital called Neonatal Intensive Care Unit, or NICU. And it's honestly every parent's worst nightmare. And he was in the NICU for 147 days. His left lung ruptured the second night he was alive, literally ruptured, and they called us down to tell him goodbye too. And we just couldn't imagine that. We had to. They
woke us up and said, if you want to see him alive, you need to come now and say goodbye. And that was just one night.
That was the first. It was the second.
Yeah, after.
And then we heard that like 6 or 7 times after that.
Yeah.
He had heart surgery at 5 weeks. You didn't get to hold him for 6 weeks.
Right before.
So there's something, especially around motherhood. I didn't get to hold him for like 10 weeks.
Yeah.
It was something long.
Yeah.
But you got to finally hold him when he was 6 weeks old.
Yeah.
We couldn't hardly touch him. We had to ask permission to. There's just something different.
Yeah. Their bodies are so sensitive, and so, it's not supposed to be here. So any kind of stimulation is just very stressful and can send them into a bad place medically. So, yeah, we had to be really careful for a long time, and it was just a really different journey to start off being parents, for sure. Challenging.
Tell them about Asher's name.
Okay, so Asher means happy and blessed in the Bible, and his name is actually, his middle name is Mark. And I remember discussing this when we were on bed rest, because really at 19 weeks we hadn't picked names yet. We were just, we just hadn't done that yet. So we started discussing it on bed rest, and I said, I really want Mark to be in the name. I don't think I want that to be a first name. And Bryan was like, I don't know. And I said, no, Mark 9:24 says, I do believe, but help my unbelief.
So in Mark 9:23, it's Jesus talking. It says, all things are possible for those who believe. And then the Father says,
I do believe, but help my unbelief. And that meant a lot to me, just in our struggle through infertility, and just trying to believe, and have hope, even when it was difficult to do that. And so I said, I really think his name should be Asher Mark. I want to remember, when we say his name, when he's older and he's in trouble, I want to remember what we went through with him, and just always keep that in the forefront of our minds, just what a miracle and how special he is. So that was Asher's name, Asher Mark.
So Asher was in the hospital for 147 days. For 2.5 years, we had to do feeding treatments. He had to live on a feeding tube.
Yeah.
G button. And he wouldn't eat anything by mouth. It was just a long. You finally became a mom.
Right.
But
it looks very different than anybody else. Yeah.
We were on lockdown before lockdown was cool.
We've practiced this
We were germaphobes a long time ago. But so we went in the hospital on January 1st. We came out on June 27th on our anniversary.
Our wedding anniversary.
Our wedding anniversary. We came out. We finally got to come home.
So every year we celebrate our wedding anniversary, and that's also when you have a baby in the NICU. A lot of times you have a homecoming anniversary. When your baby's been in the hospital that long, you celebrate everything that happens. So Asher has a lot of special days, which one day might bother Shiloh, but that's fine.
We just celebrated last week his
in
feeding
April.
tube.
Yeah,
his feeding tube. He came off his feeding tube.
The day that we stopped using his feeding tube, that's a special day. But
that day he gets anything he wants
to eat. Yeah. And
to eat. Yeah.
If Brian's in charge, he gets anything he wants, no matter what. Probably.
That may be true. So our church did a video that kind of
told the story.
Tell the story.
Yeah.
It's a very special video for us. It kind of shows Asher, shows the journey we were on.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll share that. We'll try to share that with everybody later today, and it's going to give you a perspective of that. I think it's important as you get to know people, and one of the things I love about this Inspire podcast, Robyn, is that it's just brought our community so much smaller, right? This integrity family really so much smaller. I don't know. I think you know this. Every time we do an employee onboarding meeting, I actually show a picture of you and the boys, and I mean, one of our core values is family, and so we want to highlight that. And so I think it's important people understand. And if anybody ever goes through something like that, we always want to be there for them. And then we tried to we decided to. I was scared to death, but we decided to try to have another. Right?
Yeah.
And then.
Yeah. So about 2 years later, we were pregnant with. We got pregnant again, and we had gone through we'd talked a lot with doctors and things about what we could do to help prevent what had happened before. And so we did some preventative measures and things, and then just prayed and hoped for the best. And when we found out it was a boy, I really wanted a girl. I just wanted a different story. I was kind of hurt by the idea of brothers. And so anyway, but it was a boy. And so then we thought, okay, well, I guess, this will be sweet. Asher gets to have a brother on earth after all. Hopefully, that's what we're praying for. So we named him Shiloh Creed, and Shiloh is a place in the Bible, and it means peace. And it meant a lot to me as I was thinking about just our journey with having children and trying to grow our family. And so Shiloh in the Bible is the place. So the Israelites wander through the wilderness. They get to the promised land. There's many battles still. And I related to that with just our journey with Asher and Titus, and just how it felt like, infertility felt like the wilderness. And then we had Asher, and then there was still a lot of battles. You
get to the promised land, you finally have a kid, and then it's like,
we went to therapy 3 times a week for a long time. I mean, we just, the whole eating journey is a whole nother story and book in our life. That was such a long, hard journey. And so anyway, and then, so after all those battles and things, the Israelites finally are established themselves, and Shiloh means peace. And so they finally, had some peace, and, it was kind of their place of worship, for many years. So that was kind of our hope for Shiloh's pregnancy, is that it would be peaceful, and that his life as a baby and a newborn would be peaceful. And so.
Yeah. Shiloh Creed, after the Apostles' Creed. So we brought Shiloh home. He was like this big fat baby, we called him.
So we did have it was
a great pregnancy, easy pregnancy. He was 8 pounds, 4 ounces.
Big fat boy.
And they were like, they sent him home right away with us, and we're like, what do we do with the like we had gone through so much. It was like, what do you do with this big fat baby that eats everything? And it was such
it was very opposite. We had the tiniest baby, and then we had the chunkiest.
Yeah, so it was amazing. Shiloh, actually, I'd always had this dream. I was born on my mom's birthday, September 18th. And I love that. I love the fact that I was on my mom's birthday. I'm a mama's boy. For Mother's Day, listen, I'm a mama's boy through and through. And I always wanted, I love being born on my mom's birthday and sharing that birthday as our special day. I don't know how much she loved it, honestly, but
she loved it.
Yeah, but I loved it. And so one of my thoughts was always, how cool would it be to have a kid? I remember when we were dating, I think I said, I want to have a kid on my birthday. And by the grace of God, Shiloh Creed Adams was born on September 18th.
Well, our first miscarriage was due around your birthday.
That's right.
And so then
I forgot about that.
When Shiloh came, I was like, okay, right. We're not the people that get to pick due dates. We had a baby, 4 months early. But the pregnancy went on. It was going well. And we asked the doctor, like, hey, would this date work? And she's like, yeah, that actually is great. We want you to deliver him before 38, or by 38 weeks. And so it was a pretty sweet thing. So every year we have 3 special birthdays on the same day.
That's a fun day for you to plan.
Well, the 40th birthday and the first birthday was a lot to plan, but it's very sweet. So, yeah.
Well, so life today. So we've been in this, you used to be a school teacher before all of this.
Yep.
Now you're a school teacher again.
In a different way.
In a different way. Life today, we've got 2 boys.
Yeah.
Full circle that play. They are best buddies.
Mm-hmm.
You've been a trooper.
They asked me last night when they went to bed, stalling for bedtime. They said, are we going to know each other when we're grown-ups? And I was like, yeah, I hope so. Can we live together? And I was like, well, maybe. I mean, you're still single for a while, I guess. But I don't know.
I thought, it's just fun. Sometimes we think back about what it had been like to have Titus here, and
yeah.
But it is it's fun to watch them play, and you've done such a great job during this time of and listen, we got a lot of single moms, we've got a lot of moms that are working from home, and you know how tough that is, and we've been talking about giving people grace during this time because. It takes a lot of grace, right? I mean, it's been a challenge, right?
Yeah, it's different to play those other roles that, you aren't usually doing as a mom. So
yeah, and having to do everything else.
Right, all the roles, and then add teacher to that. And, it can be definitely stressful. But
well, so this is Mother's Day weekend. I got to tell you, I haven't been to many stores, so I'm not, just so you know. This is my gift to you.
Yeah.
Is by coming.
So amazing.
This is fun. This is my gift to me, I guess. I don't know, but Mother's Day can be a tough day for some. It can be an exciting day for some. Can be a tough day for some. I remember it was a hurtful day for you for a long time.
Yeah.
As we were going through our struggle. What are your thoughts for all the moms out there, all the women out there that have had tough times?
Yeah, because of what we went through, I won't ever see a lot of holidays the same way, but especially Mother's Day. I think about all the women that it's such a sweet day for many, and there's a lot to celebrate. But there's also those that it might be hard for, and I think about every Mother's Day I think about those who are waiting to become a mother, those women who are older and didn't have the child they hoped for, or even children who are grown now but have a strained relationship with their moms, or moms who have a hard relationship with their teenager or their adult children. And, all of that is felt as the world celebrates moms. And because of our story, I just think about those situations too. And I hope that those women feel and know that they are being remembered and thought of this weekend. And I was looking at part of the definition of a mother is someone who shows care and affection. And years ago, I read this amazing book called Hannah's Hope. It's about infertility. And there's a part that talks about how any woman who nurtures or cares for others, encourages others, has been a mother in this world. And I just loved thinking of it that way. That gave me such just peace and hope as I was waiting. And I would say that kind of mothering matters as much or more than in the biological sense. So just for all the women on the call, I hope that you feel loved and honored this weekend.
Wow. Well, thank you, Robyn, for sharing that and for sharing our story with people. I know we've gone over a little bit, but I think it's been, especially in the light of Mother's Day, we really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. And honestly, we are surrounded by so many incredible women who have so many compelling stories here at Integrity, and that I think are just as inspiring as any other story. And I'd like to again thank Robyn for joining us. Thank you for letting me chase my dreams and supporting my dreams and doing all that we do here at Integrity. It's been a blessing to kind of live this life with you, but also kind of go through all of this journey with you. Yeah. I wouldn't want to do that with anybody else. So
thank you.
Thank you. Well, everybody, I hope everybody has a wonderful Mother's Day. For all of you mothers out there, and for all of you who want to be moms, or all the different scenarios that Robyn just talked about, I hope everybody has just a blessed weekend. And thank you for giving us an opportunity to share a little bit more about our story. I think as we get to know each other better, we can all relate together even more. So thank you all. Hope everybody has a blessed weekend. Enjoy your families. Love y'all. Bye-bye.